It's the 29th of September. It's a Tuesday. Welcome to the Day Weather Podcast. Sunny and dry conditions across the entire Intermountain West. Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Utah, Idaho, everyone from the West Coast through the Rockies and the Western High Plains under a big area of high pressure. And that's going to dominate the weather pattern for the next several days. Now, we are going to have some up and down temperatures, especially if you live east of the divide. There's going to be little surges of cool air coming down the axis of the right side of the ridge down through the area. That's going to cause temperatures to bounce up and down a little bit. West of the divide, temperatures will be more steady. But we just don't have anything coming our way that's going to give us any precipitation. We're still going to get some smoke and haze from regional forest fire activity. As we go into the weekend, there is a little bit of a hint on today's weather charts of maybe a little bit of a stronger cold front coming in this weekend. Now, whether or not it's going to be able to muster clouds and precipitation, we'll see, but we may end up having more weather this weekend than it looks. We'll just watch it and see what it looks like tomorrow. Nothing big until around or after October 10th, where is there going to be a big change. Our confidence is growing that after the 10th of October, as we get to the middle of the month, colder, wet weather is going to come into the entire western United States, really helping with the fire situation, even in California, but through the Rockies as well. Now, that's a long day away. We're talking 12 days away, but we do see that change coming. In the meantime, we're just going to have to hope for these smaller fronts to maybe help us out a little bit. This is the current pattern as of today. Look at this really big ridge that goes up into western British Columbia through the desert southwest. It's centered right over California, Washington, Oregon. I mean, it's just absolutely the worst situation possible to fight those fires there. Now, along and east of the divide, you can see that the upper level wind flows coming in from the northwest. That keeps our temperatures more moderate, but we're just not going to be able to squeeze out any really good precipitation. We've got a lot of cool, wet weather in the nation's midsection in the east. They're actually looking at below average conditions. But look at the contrast. You get a huge contrast like this when you get a high and a low here, and you end up with a temperature pattern like this. Look at these warmer than average temperatures that go north-south across the west coast. We've got a pocket of cold air there. That's where you got the low. And then you've got the big low and the colder conditions there. So what happens is this low builds the high builds the low, and then it builds up another ridge again. So this is where we're at right here in all of this warmth. And you can see the Continental Divide is the dividing line. West of the divide, the heat and the dryness. East of the divide, temperatures are going to be cooler, and that's where you're going to get the moisture there. And right along this strip right here, east of the divide, like waves on a beach, the colder air sometimes gets pushed to the divide, you cool off, then it gets pushed off the divide, you warm up. So that's why temperatures east of the mountains are going to be up and down a little bit through the next few days. Now, this is by Friday afternoon. Want to show you that basically it's the same pattern with that ridge and that trough, but you see this little kink. Just that little kink right there could amplify and become a bit of a stronger front as we get into the weekend. Maybe it'll produce some showers and some clouds. We'll see. But it is showing up a little bit stronger. Doesn't look like much, but that's enough to drag in some colder, more moist air, at least into the eastern areas of the region. Now, by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, the high pressure ridge here begins to break down, shifts more into the southern plains, and we get more of a westerly flow. But this is really not going to be much in the way of any big weather producers. There's a little low there that may produce some showers, but we got to start looking up here and back up here to see the weather pattern change that's going to get us something bigger, colder, and wetter. Now, this is all the way into October 6th and 7th of next week. Here we go. By Friday and Saturday, the 9th and 10th, we see a stronger Pacific front get pushed on in. Then, as we get into after that time frame, we've got a deeper trough. We got the ridge in the Gulf of Alaska, which was what we need. And you can see a reversal, a flip. The high is in the east, the low is in the west. Now, typically, climatologically speaking, if you look at records over 100 years or so, the middle to the end of October is when these shifts usually happen. And that's exactly what we're going to see right around the 10th of October. We got to wait until then for anything big, though. In the meantime, we'll ride out with these warm, sunny days and these cool nights. Have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll see you Wednesday.